Hi, in this series of videos we're going to be showcasing some of our very early builds, and we're going to start with this gaming table. When we made this gaming table, it's really just a concept build for us. It was just an idea that we wanted to try and use up some of the scrap wood in the workshop. We didn't use any expensive wood for this centre field here. This is all actually just plywood. And what we've got is we've got a hardwood veneered ply for the dark squares and a beech or light veneered ply for the lighter squares. And these were just cut 4-inch squares, and then we actually just done a biscuit joint in between each of these squares, which was a hell of a lot of work. And on reflection, I think if I was to make another one, I would just literally glue them together and let the glue suffice. First job was to cut 64 squares out of the 2 pieces of plywood using a table saw, 32 squares with the dark hardwood and 32 squares of the lighter plywood. Each square was cut 4 inches by 4 inches. We then decided to join them all using biscuits, so that meant cutting 256 biscuit slots, something we later regretted deciding to do. You can see a bit clearer from the back of the table. We didn't put a backing board on it. We did have a bit of an issue because the 2 pieces of plywood that we were using were actually different thicknesses. So there's a very slight difference in the thickness of the lighter ply to the hardwood ply. And again, obviously if we were making this again from some nice quality wood, then we'd run all of the wood through the planer, make sure it's the right thickness, and it would just make the glue up process a whole lot easier. As I say, this is by no means perfect, and it was just a concept build as such. I think it came out okay for what we wanted to do. I think if we made it again, it would be made with some much nicer wood, and we'd learn from our mistakes. The edge frame of the gaming table was made with some old furniture board that we had left over, which was only 3/4 of an inch thick. So in order to give the table a bit of substance, make it look a bit chunkier if you like, we actually doubled up the furniture boards on the edge, and we ripped down some smaller pieces and then glued these together to make the actual tabletop look as though it was about 1.5 inches thick. Just obviously suited the size of the table. As this is just an occasional table, we wanted a way of folding the legs down inside of the gaming table so it could then be stood vertically and put away either down the back of a settee or stored away in a cupboard somewhere. So what we did was we purchased these leg brackets, which has got a push-in button here that locks the bracket, and then they just hinge up 2 positions and stand vertically in the corner. It's quite a neat way of putting all the legs down, and they lock into position with this pin on this little spring-loaded pin here, so you can quite simply just push that pin in, which allows the leg to fold down. If you're interested in purchasing these leg brackets yourself, I'll put a link in the description below where you can get them off eBay, very reasonable. On each of the legs we've got a 1/2 inch chamfering bit in the router, and just routed a small chamfer on one side just to give a little interesting detail to the leg. The finish that we applied to the table was a water-based polyurethane varnish, and it was actually applied with a roller. It just gave us a much better finish than the brush finish. We didn't have any brush strokes, and we applied probably about 4 coats, I believe, with a really light sanding in between coats to give us this nice hard wearing finish and a lovely shine.